Hello everyone, this is Guyan with Genome Studios, and I'm here to show you a brand new C++ intensive. Now, I've been stalling on this because this particular video I'm probably the least qualified to teach you, but in the spirit of bootstrapping indie, gotta get things working, gotta make it work to the best of our abilities, I'm going to offer this to you. If you know how to set up an IDE and run builds and debugs and stuff like that, use Visual Studio and like the norms that are already present with O3DE, you may not need this, so you can, of course, just move along to the next videos in the series. This is for anyone who just doesn't really have any idea of how to start and where to go, and I guess VS Code can kind of be used in other OSs, which is kind of nice. I kind of fell into it. I was bad at doing both when it comes to doing builds and things, so VS Code it became. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get you set up all the way from the beginning to make sure that you have the means to program for O3DE. And we definitely are assuming that you know how to install O3DE, use it, you've got the prerequisites to run it, and ideally you've played around with the editor and now want to move to C++ to expand your ability to command the game. So I'm going to quickly pull up my little schedule here and get us started. So O3DE source code is hosted on GitHub.com, and if you know GitHub, it uses the Git versioning software. It's been around for forever, and it's used by programmers. So in order to get the source code, which is going to be part of this process, we need to have Git and all the things tied to that. So I'm going to quickly open a CMD. Oh, come on. CMD. There we go. And let's show you how to get all this stuff set up. So you may have Git, you may not know if you have Git. So the first thing you can do is go Git version. And if something pops up and not an error, you have Git. Maybe if your version is like 1 point something, you may want to update it, which we'll get at. Another thing you will want is Git.LFS, which is Git's ability to handle large files. So models, art, videos, shadow, light maps, all those things that aren't code. So we want to go Git.LFS version, and here you go. If you have it, you have it. If it has an error, then you don't have it. And just for the sake of completion, we're going to go Ninja -- version. And if a version comes up, you have it. If it doesn't, you don't have it. So you can manually install all of these things. It will require you to do an additional step, which is to add these to your Windows path directory. But I'm going to show you how to use Winget, which sets this all up for you automatically. So if you go Winget, search Git, it's going to ask you to trade your firstborn, and then you say yes, and now you'll get this. So this gives you everything that has Git in it, even like, what is it, Logitech Git. But what we're looking for is just Git. And this one is Git by Git. This one's Microsoft Git. I'm not sure exactly which one you'll get, but they're nearly identical. Additionally, we can see, because we searched Git, we can look down for Git.LFS, and we have it there. So Git.LFS exists on Winget. And then lastly, we're going to want to go Winget search Ninja. And here we'll see all the ninjas, and Ninja here, Ninja-build. That's what we want. So what you can do is do Winget Git, and it should get you the Git. But if you go search Git.LFS, like we were seeing, it's going to give you an error. So to check what you need to do, you can go Winget search Git.LFS, all one command, and it'll give you the one search, which is Git.LFS as we saw, but it here says moniker Git.LFS, all one word. So If you're missing one or all or any of them, you can just go Winget.Git, do that, go Winget.GitLFS, get that, and go Winget.Ninja. And that will load, it'll do all the stuff, it'll set it up for you, and you can do what I did before, which is git version. And you'll see that you now have Git, Git.LFS, and Ninja. So that gets all this early stuff off the table, and now we can actually start doing things. So if you are a Git master and you know command line, likely you're not going to be watching this video, but you'll know how to clone the O3DE repository. I'll add the link to the description. All of these will be added. But if you're like me, a game programmer and designer, indie, you'll likely want an interface. So I recommend just grabbing GitHub Desktop, get it, install it, and this will get you pretty well all the way through that you need. So we have here GitHub. You can just add clone repository or any of these. You can log in with your options to Git, but because it's GitHub itself, you can click in here and literally use open with GitHub Desktop. Otherwise, here's the link to the Git repository. You can copy it, you can do whatever you want. And then we'll have it. It'll say, fetch with a million numbers and all these things. So the first thing you'll do is it'll run through and it'll get you all your files. But most Git repositories don't know that they use Git.LFS until you download it. So a really good rule of thumb when you start from scratch from raw is to just fetch again, because if it then now knows that Git.LFS is a thing, and has the screenshots and videos and all these things in the repository, you'll pick them up on the second run. I've had onboarding with colleagues that they download the project and the thing is completely just ruined. So we're panicking and all this stuff, and all you needed to do is just do it again. So here we do. We've got the O3DE. I recommend that you add the repository to a hard drive that's both fast and has plenty of space, because development with an engine like this, you have to have the engine itself, you have to have your projects, you have to have all your custom gems and everything that comes with that. So it's good to have lots of space. So put it on a drive that works well for you. And yeah, so now we have our source code, but what do we do with it? So if you follow these links here, they'll be in the description. This is just setting up O3D from GitHub. Basically what I told you, get Git.LFS, it tells you all the commands to do it. If you've got the stones for that, do it. If it asks you to log in and you mess this up, you might not be asked again, even though it didn't work. So if that happens, you can look up how to reset your particular credential so that when you open it up again, it will ask you again. That's one that got me real bad. But yep, all this stuff just asks you to fetch and all these things. In my case, because I like playing it hard and fast, my O3DE is, I'm right now using a custom branch, but I'm using development. Development is just the feed of people adding fixes, features, tech up to right now. If you want something more stable, main is the last install release. So today it's 2505. For extra details, there's point release 25051. So this is the next update to 2505 that has stability and stuff that has cropped up since release. So this one will be stabilizing. So every update to this one, they're tidying things up, making things work, and stuff ready for the next release. But again, I'm just developing. I'm going to be developing for quite a while. So I am doing development. In fact, I work with the community, so I'm trying to make things come to development that I want and need. So you do what you trust. You've fetched it. You've double fetched it just to make sure. And so now you have it. And so now we're going to build for Windows. So there's a little extra stuff that you have to do simply because it's now source code. It's nothing it's not an engine. It's just the code that makes an engine. You can follow these build instructions. I had an issue where from trying to run the get Python command, it wasn't working. So you can literally go into O3DE editor, go into Python, and literally click get python.bat. Same thing, just manually. And then they ask you to do an initial build. The third-party path will be custom to you wherever you installed the third-party stuff. That usually came when you installed just the regular installer. Just make sure it goes to the right place. Again, if you need any clarity on these things, you can search the documentation. You can come to the Discord and ask, and we'd be happy to help you work your way through that. But this sets it up. If you're doing Visual Studio 2022, the command is Visual Studio 17 and stuff. So you want to do this. It's just a good thing to get it set up. This is an optional one. So what this is after you've set up the configuration for the editor, you can build the editor. And so the editor doesn't have a project, it doesn't have anything, but you can build into it and it gives you the things you've built. In this case, they're saying just do the editor and just do profile. There's versions called debug, there's versions called profile, there's versions called release. Profile is basically you're editing things and working with stuff. Debug is you're testing and making sure things work, and release is we're going to do everything we need so that we can package this up and ship it to customers. So for the most part, you're going to be using profile. Once you're going to need debug and release, you'll probably be getting more familiar with this whole process. Doing only one just makes things quicker to compile because you're not doing 3 versions of the same thing. Now, you don't necessarily need to do this because this is just going to make you a editor build. So the reason for doing this, if you will, is because you from editor can launch the standalone editor and point the editor towards your project. So O3DE Intensives or whatever. And that will take what you built, go over to the project, kind of combine the two, and then build your project with all of it together and launch it and stuff. That can be, in my opinion, a little weird because the editor doesn't necessarily have all your custom code. So even when we get to doing what we're going to do in these next videos, it's going to have to do both. There's what I do, which is we're going to register the engine. What you can then do is point your project to the editor, and what it'll do is it'll get the source code, it'll get itself, and it'll build from scratch for the project. So it'll do the same thing, but rather than standalone, it's custom to your project. The last kind of version is that you can actually build the editor as an install. And that makes a completely standalone install, just like version 2505. And the benefit for that is if you have 50 projects going on, the install just copies what it was made out of over to the project, and the project starts building. This is mostly used, say, in a studio environment when you have 10, 20, 500 people. Your engineers will wrap things up at the end of the week kind of thing, build a new install, and then on Monday you come in, download the install, sync to it with the internal studio infrastructure, set up the install, update your project, and now you have all of the internal studio updates, fixes, features, all that stuff. And that applies to all 500 of you, so you don't all 500 have to build from scratch. I'm just an indie. I'm just doing literally one project, so I just do the raw source code. GSPlay just says, hey, if there's a change to the source code, I have to rebuild myself from scratch. Let's get past that preamble. You're going to do it my way until you know how to do it another way. If you want to do it another way, come to our Discord and ask about how to do it. But we're going to move on and go down to register the engine. So running from the engine root, so that scripts is scripts, O3DE engine source code scripts, you're calling register this engine. So what it does is it goes and tells the O3DE manifest here system that this engine exists and you can use it. All right, so we've registered the engine. What does that mean? I was telling you a little earlier, if you look down here at GS Play, it says O3DE 420, but these other ones say 240 SDK. What it is that now when you go to edit your project, you'll be able to click this down and see all the installs that you have. In my case, I uninstalled all of them and went fresh to 2505, which is the newest release. And then we have our source code. So this just points to this folder. So anytime you go, hey, there's some cool updates that are coming in. I'm glad that I made people update the things like I wanted to. You can now fetch, and then your project is already pointing towards it. So now that you've fetched, your project's going to take an hour to rebuild, but now it's going to be right up to speed, right up to the beginning of dev, origin, and you'll be building your game from right then and there, hot off the press. So let's get back to the scheduling so that we get on with it. Okay, one last thing for setup. Just like I was saying, have the editor on a hard drive. I've just got a dev folder. Please just make yourself a gems folder, like the gems that you want to make. This is so that you can code in the future. You'll see all about all of these, but just in the same general area, have your gems, have your editor, and now you'll be ready to tackle all the programming you ever want for O3D from here. So now that you got those two, I'm working on GS Play gameplay framework. So my gems are called GS Play. You can call it whatever you want. My gems, custom gems, gem dev, whatever you want. And now let's see. Okay, let's get ready to start doing some Visual Studio stuff. If you are from scratch, I don't know how you've gotten this far, but you may want to get Visual Studio. Same like anything, just look up Visual Studio VSCode download, VSCode, and get what is appropriate to you. Very straightforward. And now you have Visual Studio Code. So now that we have Visual Studio Code, we're going to get the prerequisites. So I'm referring to how to use VS Code with O3DE, little wiki. It's a bit out of date, but that's fine. You'll get the link in the description. And here in Windows, it has some prerequisites. To start, we've got the extension pack by Microsoft. So if we come here and we go View and go Extensions, you can literally just search up. I already have it installed. C++ extension pack. Bang. You click it. When you install it, what it's actually giving you is C, C++, C, C++ themes, and CMake tools. What you also want to download is CMake by Twixes, and that's this, CMake Twixes. And then lastly, you want to grab Python. Same idea, you download Python and it gives you a bunch of Python things. Good. Python is used with O3DE to do a lot of generative things, use templates and generate templates and stuff. C++, yes, and CMake tools is a nice utility that helps us do a lot of things for C++ and O3DE. So we've got those. And now let's see. All right, we can start building our VS Code environment. Nice. So many of you probably have already been building your project, using the install, doing all sorts of stuff that you're doing, which means that you've likely built your project. So, here you have it built. If you're building a project from scratch, you can new project, create new project. It'll ask you, you can do intensives example project. Everything's normal. I'm using my dev folder, exactly normal, using the default because I'm specific. We want to have everything. And we could create project. It says likely needs to be rebuilt, but don't. Now I'm going to show you the difference between these two, but it's very, very, very easy. If you've built already, it's that you've used the default for Windows, which is msbuild, as far as I understand. We're going to be using Ninja for this tutorial because I found that with msbuild, it takes like 2-3 minutes to get to your code that you've just created. It hits an issue because you're bad at coding, just like me. And now it tells you it's failed and tells you kind of things that why. You make the fix, and now it takes 2-3 minutes to come back again, right? That's awful. I did it for a month and a half. Holy, it eats your entire life away. But with Ninja, it's more optimized for building. It's more specifically made for like, let's build and let's do it well. And it gets your custom code in 10-20 seconds and tells you it fails and gives you the reasoning. In my opinion, I like what it tells you a lot more clearly. And this is just to say Ninja's fast at getting to it, but truly to compile, all of them take, general amount of time. It's doing the rest of the work after you find your issues and work past them. So at the end of the day, it's going to take 3-5 minutes kind of thing to build through, but at least you're doing the 5 minutes after 10 seconds instead of 3 minutes and then failing in 3 minutes. Blah, blah. To get at this, we're going to start working with Visual Studio Code. I think this is the best way to go. So if you haven't, you're going to open Explorer. You can go view Explorer. It's going to actually pop up if you don't have any custom setup here on the side. I'm used to Visual Studio, not VS Code, so I like the Explorer here. I like it being open 24/7. So you have your projects. Where are we? You have your projects. So let's open your project. I'm going to go down here. Don't look at all my things. Going to go to off local dev. Going to go intensive 2025 and select folder. Now, it may do nothing. It may open up a bunch of things like this. It may open up a bunch of things like this, but don't worry about it. You can click any of the whatever's highlighted on the side here to close it. You can click X over here to close this. So here we are. Now I'm going to get a little bit, I'm going to have to teach you some stuff real quick, but we'll go back into it a little bit more in detail. So in order to the best handle what we're going to be doing next, using all sorts of command line things, I wanted to help you set up the command line here in VS Code. I got this far in the tutorial already and realized it was a real mess to try and do command line without this, so we're going to jump a little ahead and do this. So if you go down to this gear here, we can get over to settings, and it'll nicely open up this settings window. This is great. You can search settings, you can parse through like all sorts of stuff. It's great and stuff, but actually it has an underlying system of text. So if you go up here to this icon that opens up when you select settings, you can open up the texts. Don't look at this too deeply. We're going to get at it. I've already customized stuff, and this just is universal for all your VS Code. What we're going to do here is set up this one specifically. I'm going to come down here and separate it. I'm going to try and make these resources available as best as I can for you. For you. Oh, come on. Whatever. Oh, jeez. Okay, sorry. Let me just... We're going to get these set up. Copy. Oops. Type B. Here we go. Inside these squigglies, and just after whatever. If there's already things here, you want to make sure that there's commas between each one. So here and after this one. But we're doing a thing. We're setting up the terminal to use CMD, which is normal. But we're going to put these arguments. I'm not sure exactly what K is. I was just told to do it. And then this one. Program files, Microsoft Visual Studio. You need it to be able to run O3DE anyways. 2022 is what I'm using. Community, all these things, auxiliary build. Then VC vars 64.bat. It's very likely that you're using a 64-bit computer. If you know that you're using a 32, there's an equivalent for 32, but I think that's very unlikely. What we're saying here is that we're making a terminal profile called Windows or for Windows called developer command prompt for VS22. What this is it's basically saying when we open a command prompt, it's going to set up the Visual Studio command prompt, command line environment, which becomes very, very important for doing all of your building and all of your setup and all of your commands. And then what this one below is saying is the default profile for Windows is our developer command prompt for VS 2022. It won't have this red squiggly because you'll have it inside and in list. If there is a squiggly, make sure that something above it has a comma. Make sure that this one has a comma before the default profile, and you'll have these two. You save, and you'll know it works when you click Control J was the one that I know. It might open you up in Debug Console. Click over to Terminal, and here you'll do this, and it'll do that. Line, and then go in, and it'll say we're in the intensives folders because we're working on intensives right here. If all goes well, you now have Visual Studio Developer Command Prompt as the default, and now you can use Command Prompt from there all the time and know that it's going to work. I hope this all works for you. If it doesn't, let me know. And we're going to be worrying about all these next settings later on. And so yeah. Now we're getting on with the part of the tutorial I haven't done twice. We've opened up the project folder. We've set up the terminal. Just to start, just for fun, let's go into File, and let's say Save Workspace As. In this case, it puts me right in the project. You can do that. You can come out into your dev folder where you've got your gems and where you've got your editor. I have just VSCode workspaces, and it's usually fine to just use the default. Intensives 2025, that's your project, and this is the workspace that we're making. I guess I don't have it for this, so I guess I'm just going to go Save Workspace As. I'm going to just... No, you know what? We're going to make a folder in here, new folder called .vscode. Bang. Now we're going to go save workspace, and now we can go into VS Code, and we've got our workspace here. Do what you want. We're going to use this .vscode folder later, so I wanted it to just be here when we save. So now you can go Start, open your Visual Code, and it'll say Intensives 2025 Workspace. So now if your power goes out, your Windows restarts for Windows Update, you can resume back here where we're at. We just have settings and settings JSON, and we got our terminal. Okay. Thanks for following me along. This is so information dense. I've learned only much of this just yesterday. Okay, so now we can start working with our projects. We have our projects. Some of you have never built it, and that's good, but some of you have built it. So I'm going to show you. It's going to fail because it's built on msbuild. And we're going to use our very first command line here. This one up here is what we've already set up. And yeah, just verify that you have the directory. That's the one that we're setting here in settings right here. Auxiliary build cvars.bat. That's how you know. Bats are just little things that run and do things for you. So we're going to use this command here, CMake G Ninja S build. Build is Windows, and we're building type profile. That's the same as what we saw here. Building for Windows is we're doing the Ninja equivalent of this Visual Studio third-party paths, blah, 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 blah. And what we're trying to do is basically say, instead of Visual Studio 2017, we're instead going to use Ninja. And we already set up Ninja, and we've already verified that we have it. So when we go into here, and we've got our terminal, and it's got the dotted line, you can click Shift Insert, that's paste, and you can verify CMake, which is what you've already installed in the past for using O3DE anyways. We're saying we're using Ninja, we're saying build Windows, type profile, and when you click enter, it's going to say, oh, can't use Ninja, we've already been using Visual Studio 17, everything's messed up, remove CMake cache, and make C files directory, or choose a different binary directory. This is a big mess, and so we're gonna change that. So we're gonna go into our intensives, and we're gonna go to build, and we're gonna just delete Windows. So when you come in here, you've got all this Visual Studio things. This is all great when you're trying to use Visual Studio. You've got the CMake files and everything. But we're going to be using Ninja, and we're not going to be using Visual Studio. So delete it. Okay, we've now committed to a lot of things. Next, we're going to just go into Intensive 2025, and we're going to go open CMake GUI, and it should be empty like this. So we're going to click Configure. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, I think we might not need to. Let's just go back real quick. Go back in here. Nice thing is, we can now click up, and it'll set this up here. Copy exactly what we did before. If you didn't build your project, this will start this way. It now selects the engine path, it's detecting packages, it's doing all sorts of things, setting up, configuring, and this is all based on Ninja's design of how it handles these things. So if you try and build with msbuild now through a different command, it'll give you the same issue of error, you're using Ninja, but you're trying to use Visual Studio, just in reverse. If you got this through, build files have been written, we did it. Your project is now using Ninja. Good, 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 good. So we've converted the project to Ninja, but we have yet to set the project to the source code. Here, my previous project already has it, intensives, and your brand new project does not have it yet. So we can go in here and edit project settings. I wanted to do this after we convert, just to make sure that it doesn't start building for 15 years, and then it turns out it's building Microsoft MS Build, and then you have to start building for another 15 years Ninja. So we've got building on our source code engine. This just allows us to use the brand new up-to-date things. You don't have to, but you may have now a discrepancy between the install and the source code when in the future we're going to use the source code that we downloaded as a reference for how we're going to, like how we can use the O3DE systems, transform, mesh, all those nice things. I'm going to save. Likely needs to be rebuilt. Okay, so over here, I've got the next command. So build Windows, target editor, and profile type, build. Look, it's exactly like what we were going to do for the editor standalone. In this case, the M means I'm pretty sure use all of the processor cores. You can do, I think, M and then a number, and it'll do a select number. In our command, just adding no command at the end means just use all the cores, and there's a Ninja specific command for use 4 cores or whatever you want to do. But we're going to take this. This is all really manual stuff for now. We're going to control copy. We're going to go back into our project. Here we go. And we've got the command line. If for some reason, you know, again, your computer turned off, you clicked kill terminal here, you can just click Control J again, and it'll pop up. It'll load Visual Studio and get you started on the command line again. Do this 100 million times. It's all gravy. You're okay to do it. So then we're going to click Shift Insert. We can verify what it is. CMake, we're calling CMake. We're telling it to build. We're telling it to build for Windows, target editor, config profile. The build is set to Ninja. Build Windows is what we set for Ninja. Target editor is don't do a standalone, don't do a server, a multiplayer server. Just make the editor, you know, the thing that we load up and make games in. And then again, profile is just convenient because you're not building editor profile, editor release, editor debug. Once you want to get to that, you're probably an engineer that knows these things. If not, go to the Discord and learn a little more about that stuff, or use the documentation. So if all goes well, I'm going to click this, and I'm probably gonna have to cut off and do a cut, because this is probably going to take 2.5 hours. So what we've done is we've configured it for Ninja, this particular project, and we've used a Ninja-based build command. So the nice thing about this is it would have failed if we did the wrong command, but it's doing the job. Just a little look into, because this is fresh source code, it's going to be using all these packages. It's just going through the source code and saying, okay, yeah, open image, free type, PySide, mini audio, NVIDIA cloth, PhysX, you know, all the things that are basically built into the engine. And it's checking, okay, what's different and stuff like that. And so it's setting the configuration. But now from here, it's going to actually do the build. Here we go, 1,310 build steps, build processes. This is how you know you're building from a fresh source. When I've done fetch on the repository, it'll be about 900 for me. So that means that Ninja has even isolated 400 steps from pure raw from scratch to updated the source code, and it basically changed almost everything, but not quite almost everything. Once you get through these big builds, you know, once you're just doing, I edited some code, build, 10 seconds later it tells you failed, you'll be usually doing 3 to 9 steps. The first 3 or 4, no. Like the first 1 is, did your code break? Then 2 is, did you properly tell the different pieces of code that your code is where it's supposed to be? That's a big one. And so then after you get through literally 1, 2, and 3 step, you're either done, or then 4 through 9 just have to do this. Just run through the general motions that it's doing. Yep, so then this is going to take what it's going to take. You got to just leave your computer. Because we set Ninja to just use all the cores, if you're going around, yeah, you can't play games. You can't do stuff like that because you are going to be chugging, absolutely chugging. I'm a little bit away from my computer, but it's very likely your computer is going to be going for the next hour. So I'm going to just quickly do a little review of where we're going to go. Yep, we're now setting up the project and all those things. And after this builds and after we've got these set up, we're going to start actually configuring VS Code to be able to do much of what I was doing, these kinds of copy paste things, but nice and more automatic, nice and more integrated with the actual editor itself. I'm going to talk about some of the caveats to VS Code specifically and using Ninja, because it turns out that there's a little bit of discrepancy. And once you're done with that, you'll be ready to program and follow these next tutorials. So I'll see you on the flip side. We'll finish this up and get you on your way for these next tutorials, which I'll have a much greater time of fun doing because I'll actually know a little more about what I'm talking about. If you're with me so far, thanks so much. And yeah, I'll see you on the flip side here. All right, hello, I'm back. And we have a completely built project. So you can see down here that we hit our just before reporting one thing. It can do that a lot of the times. It just finished and said it was finished faster than it could do an update for the last one. I hope you enjoyed watching the number count up and have it tell you all these nice things about copying and doing things, because that's why we're using Ninja. It's a much more clear process when you're just trying to see if things work. So we have a project. We have Visual Studio Code, VS Code. So now I wanted to kind of just like start working out workflow improvements and IDE like improvements. So very first and foremost, you want access to your code. We have the project, but we want to do all sorts of other things. We want to go File and go Add Folder to Workspace. And here's where we can go and select our gems. It's nice to have your source code before we go to other things. And now you'll see right below in your project name is your gems. And I've got all sorts of really nice ones here that I've been working on. And that's how I know how to do some programming about O3DE. And now, after all this time, we're also going to add the editor source code. So this is a lovely setup here now, where you can be aware of what's going on in your project. You can do all sorts of your gem development and component development. And you can do all sorts of referencing and stuff to the O3D editor source code. So there's code, which has all of their most fundamental aspects that make O3DE. And then they have the gems, which are all the gems that get made into what we know as O3DE and all of its features. So having these is really, really nice and really, really helps when it comes to figuring out how to use the various features. We have documentation and we have the support of our peers, but there's definitely not 30 years of Stack Exchange posts about every facet of the thing. So it really helps to have this code here. Great. So we've got our project or our workspace set up. I'm pretty sure, yeah, by just doing this stuff, the workspace has it. You can go into the VS Code and go into your workspace, and you'll see this is the project path, this is our gems, and this is our editor. So all is well, all is well. Let's pull up the schedule. Okay, so we're even more ready to just start customizing things. So we're going to return back over here to the using Visual Studio Code setup. And these are going to give you all sorts of default prefab configuration. Now, some of it is a little outdated, and some of it is like really engineering and stuff oriented. But we're going to just gloss over that for now. because it's much better to have something working than to worry about absolutely every aspect of it. So we have our .VSCode already. You can see here how we wanted the .VSCode folder here. We're going to just say new file and call it settings.json. So I just wanted to quickly interject. There's settings.json for the editor, the one that you pull up with settings, and then this is project settings. So this has to do with this particular workspace and what we're going to do with it. So then we can just copy the body of that and paste it here. So what we have going on here is this command for workspace folder means intensive 2025, but actually it doesn't. It means the root folder in this workspace. But we don't have a root, we have 3. So in fact, what we want to do is step in here and put a colon and go intensives 2025. So now it's saying the workspace folder of intensive 25, do the build, do the windows. So we go here, there's build, and there's windows here. So this is nice and correct. Our third-party path, this is not what mine is. I'm going to pull up my project. Here we go, third party. I think this is more the default, users, you, and then the .O3DE. This is one that they tell you in the tutorial, like the guide video page. Parallel jobs is how many, how many parallel jobs that we're going to do. I think it's 16. Yes, I have 16 cores, 8 cores, 16 threads. So this is just saying when we're doing building of this, just full 1000% full throttle. All right. And now you should probably recognize these in these default variants. We're saying the default is profile, which is already what we were doing. And then here in the choices, we define these 3. I am not sure how much this command works fully, but it's here and it's configured correctly to whatever it's doing. We can click save because that's settings.json. We already updated our directory to be the project and not our random source code directories. And then we're going to go back here and we're going to make a launch.json. So clearly this is going to be what happens when we launch the project. New file, launch.json. Come in here, copy this, paste it in. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Because we're done with this terminal, you can exit to hide the panel. You can just kill the terminal. I guess I'll exit just for fun. And I don't know what 1000% of this is. There's so many aspects to this that have to do with just very slight variants of configuration to test out AZ frameworks tests, all asset bundler tests. This is very, very engineering oriented, and you'll likely not need to use all of it, maybe at all. But the 2 key ones, more specifically, are our launcher here, name launcher, and name editor. So editor, again, is when you go into O3DE and you just say open editor, that's editor. And launcher is, hey, I'm going to put this on Steam and you're going to launch Intensives 2025. So those are 2 very important ones, but we're going to have to do a little bit of shuffling. So here in command CMake build directory bins blah 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 blah, we have my project.GameLauncher. So now we want to use the nice display name of our project. So intensives, oops, not my, not intensives 2025.GameLauncher.exe. So at some point we'll build this project and it'll get pushed out into this directory. Maybe not. You might have to change the path here, and it's going to pump out GameLauncher.exe, which is just the regular, this isn't multiplayer, this isn't a server, this isn't anything, it's just a game, launcher.exe, and this just says launch that one, so then VS Code will just get, smothered by the game window opening. Great. And then editor is the same idea. It's going to launch, and we'll see here exactly what I was describing earlier. In this configuration, we're saying go to the engine Windows profile and run that editor and call the project path this workspace folder. So again, we have this workspace folder. It could be calling GS Play Gems project, and that doesn't exist. So I like to just go Control C to copy, Control F to find. It'll pop up here. We just paste and then go colon intensives 2025. And there's 12, and we just click replace all. Bam, scorched earth. Everything updated. Really, we only needed it for here, for us. Yes. And I mean, if you're ever going to jump into these things now, it's already handling it. But I want to launch the project editor. So I'm going to quickly jump over here and go to my settings, go to my launch, and we're doing, we're going to have to do the entire full directory to our editor.exe because I think I recall trying to use the workspace folder and it didn't quite do it because it's a little bit of a shorthand. So we're going to go here and we're going to go to intensives and we're going to go to build and we're going to go, we're in Windows, where are we at? Bin, and we're in profile. There would be other ones in bin if you did multiple, but right now we only have profile. And then we've got editor.exe, which is, where are we? Editor.exe. Let's see if we can copy the path. Copy path. So then we can go right in here and we can just paste that in. And it'll give us a little mess, which is just saying that these backslashes are not correct because that's hard directory stuff, not file name stuff. So we're going to just go in here, and again, I love replace all. We're going to just do the reverse, and we're going to click replace all, and it's going to go bang. And now it all works. So again, we're on our drive that we want. We're in our dev folder. We're in our projects. We built for Windows, and it took that hour and a half. I had a nice lunch in between. It pumped out bin profile editor, and that's exactly what we intended to do. When we come here, we were targeting editor, and so editor exists because of us. Config profile, profile exists because of us. So we did what we wanted. Now, in a lot of cases, this console external terminal, at least in my case, was completely useless. It just opens a terminal, but then the editor launches right after, so then the terminal's empty and it just sits there, and now you have to continually exit the terminal. So we're going to just quickly change it to integrated terminal. And there's 3 settings: external, integrated, and then like built-in or hidden or whatever. But integrated, we're going to just paste that here for launcher. We're going to just paste that here for editor. Integrated is just this terminal. So when we launch editor, this will pop up. Our developer command prompt will pop up like this. And instead of being Intensives 2025, it's going to be running a bunch of editor things and launching the game. So in this case, we're gravy. And I'm pretty sure we're through this side of things. Yeah, it says file dir name. I think I just, for editor, I think it doesn't matter. It hasn't seemed to matter too much. I just put the workspace folder, and then file dir name, I just did the same as these workspace folders, which is Intensives 2025. All right, I think that's all good. That's all what we want. And we can click save and move to the next thing. No, not this guy. Yeah, so we're here. We did launch, we did settings. Yeah, and so then we're setting up visual code and things. Okay, we're through this one. So where are we at here? We now have a way to launch our editor. We have settings that talk about build profiles and things. We point to our third-party path and things. That's all good. And then we have the terminal that goes to the Visual Studio environment, and we called it this and set it default. So let's see, what do I do first? All right. So what we've set up with all of these things and with the CMake things and stuff is that we have this CMake window now, and this is from the CMake whatever helper tools, CMake tools, and it gives us a status. It says status. It's what we're doing when we're building and running and stuff like that. So we see here folder Intensives 2025. So in our launch, when we say file dir name and workspace folder, it means Intensives 2025. But with default settings, and I don't think you'll see it for me, is if I go into GS Play Gems, here I'll actually, do we have it? Here we go. I'm going to just comment this out so that you can see. If I go into my GS software and pull this up, all of a sudden the project status changes to GS Play, sets all these new things because it's a completely different configuration. And so if you try and build, you're editing your gem, and you want to just, build the project again to see if the gem works, it's going to start doing absolutely nuts things. It's not good. It's not good. So we want to just go back to intensives. We can just literally select anything. It goes back to intensives, right? So we can go into settings and we can say active folder. So then we have select active folder automatically. So we can turn that off. And then what it does is it adds this line, the one that I removed. So I'll just get rid of that. It saves for you. I just edited that thing, so I saved. And now this time, if I go to my code, I'm now in my gem, but the folder stays its own. And if you ever want to change it, you can just select the active folder and then go and click anywhere. So yeah, you have more command here. It's up to you. That's very, very good. And so that's a very good start. So there's a bunch more things that we're going to have to do to configure. But rather than show you every single issue, I'm going to actually start showing you just some settings to do. So a good one is sign off. Always sign off. So a sign off is where you put basically your username and your email, and it draws from your Git settings. And if you're ever going to actually commit work to the O3DE repository and code review and all that stuff, it will not allow you to submit if you don't sign off. And it has to be the account that you're using on Git to put to push the PR, the pull request through. So this just makes it automatic. I'm not going to show you, but over here is where you can actually do source control without GitHub for desktop. I'm used to GitHub for desktop, but I actually did use this source control to submit a signed off thing. For some reason, desktop doesn't actually have sign off ability. It's kind of stupid. Okay, great start. What is some other ones? Oh, so when you run, there's also a bunch of things where it will continually reconfigure. So that was stuff where basically, like if you change this build to target editor and then be configured debug, it'll completely reconfigure the project, and then you won't be running profile. You'll have to run debug. And as we're seeing here, the default's profile. So it starts getting really confusing. And again, usually you want to have control over these kinds of things. And in my case, I was having a hell of a time trying to actually get the build that this build command and whatever the IDE understood the configuration to be, so it kept fighting with me overwriting the things. So then we want to go back into settings and go auto configure. So then this is automatic reconfigure when the preset is changed. We're going to get into that. That's all of these things, build, test package, where these guys, if you change any of it, it just starts rebuilding. And it's like, no. If I clicked over to something by accident, or even if you click back to the one you selected, it starts all over again. So it's like, oh, holy. Then there's configure on edit. So when you edit some files, the CMake lists, things that you're going to be doing a lot of when you start developing for O3DE, again, it's going to start configuring. And if this isn't the way that your thing is set up, it's going to completely reconfigure. You're going to have to configure it back or do whatever. Same thing with configure on open. You come back tomorrow, you had this in a weird configuration, and then it starts configuring your project. So the nice thing is this is just configure. So it takes 2-3 minutes, and then you have to just swap back. But now you have those. Those are good. And you can see here, automatic reconfigure, configure on edit. Those are all off. And oops, always sign off is true. That's what we set. Configure on open is false. Good. We can even verify that we have this. And so we're doing pretty good. Now, where are we here? These configurations eventually say, maybe not. Well, okay. There's one more really important line, and this one, status bar visibility. Let's see if we can, status bar visible. Okay, so status bar visible is the status bar comes from the CMake tools, and it gives you this bar down here with all these things, and these are direct reflection of this. So our folder says intensives 2025, configure, build, all this stuff. So I might have to come and do a new video about these, but I'm going to get you at all working. So when you click on no configure preset selected, you can click down here. And this is that configure that keeps redoing and that I'm in conflict with. It gives you all these options. So if you're doing stuff for Android, or I guess on Android, I'm not sure. If you're doing things for Windows, Windows Ninja, etc. All of these kind of have their own intention, and none of them do what we want. Visual Studio, or even Windows Unity or Windows, these ones are just using msbuild. We're not doing that. And these Windows Ninja ones are doing something kind of separate. And we don't necessarily want to do that. So we're going to create our own presets, both for configure, and we click build. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, we don't even have a configure preset decided. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my code here. settings, no, task launch. Is it here? Yeah, CMake presets. I forgot about this. So we have CMake presets in our project. And here we go. We see version. I don't know what these minimums are required. Include says to use all these the pre-made presets. That's all these because it's part of the engine CMake presets. We're going to make our own, which is why we've opened our local one. And I'm just going to copy paste this over, and I'll describe it in a second here. Yeah, you want starting from the name start to the end of the square bracket. This is the wrapper. Come back here, and if you see here, this square bracket doesn't have a comma, so we're going to comma, and it says that's bad, and then we're going to paste, and now it's going to say it's good. I'm of course going to give you all these resources, but what we're doing, you can name this literally anything you want. I'm calling it Ninja Profile Editor. So we're using Ninja, we're using Profile, and we're outputting the editor. We got the display name description. We're saying the generator is Ninja. We're setting the directory is build Windows. We're saying the build type is profile. Again, I'm not 100% sure if this is doing it, but we're assuming because it looks so official. But what that's telling us is settings. The other settings here. We're saying profile. Use profile. Oops, CMake prefix. And then, so that's the configure. So that's what it does when we're doing the little bit of when I said don't build your thing first, or we have to kill the msbuild stuff. These are the configurations, and then the presets, the build presets. So now that we've configured it, we want to build the project like we did. From here on out, it's only going to be like 9 or 10 things, so that's nice instead of 1,300. Same idea. We're calling it Ninja Profile Editor. We're just saying use the configure preset Ninja Profile Editor. And it's just saying targets as editor. So if we go back here to the no configure preset selected, oh, I have to save. We should find ours, Ninja Profile Editor, just like we see here. So we're going to click this and go Windows Profile Editor. And then it's doing things. And actually, you'll see, oh, it didn't show us output. Aha, it didn't tell us. It probably changed the configuration, maybe not yet. But so a lot of VS Code is just commands that the interface is just giving us buttons for. So in that we clicked this this button down here to configure presets, we can literally go Control-Shift-P, which opens up do actions, and we can do configure. Yeah, CMake select configure preset. So that's what happens when we click this. That's what happens when we click this, and you can now do it manually, knowing what you're doing. Same idea, Control-Shift-B, build preset, and if we go here to build, oh, it already targeted that for us. It'll bring it up for us. If we go down here, it'll give this to us. So now we see here, we've got the intensives folders. We're using the Ninja Profile Editor configuration. We're doing Ninja Profile Editor, and then targets. And here we have editor. I think it's this. So, I mean, that's all we can do. And I'm pretty sure editor means this guy, this launch target, which is our project profile build editor. So, you may want to copy VV and do editor debug and have it go to debug editor and lots of stuff like that. Like we're only just scratching the surface. There's so much you can do with this, but I don't know it, so so I'm gonna just get rid of that. We have our editor. We're doing profile. Good to go. Good, good, good. Save. So this test build is when you want to build a test, likely like these guys down here and stuff. We don't need to set that. Package, again, that's stuff that we don't need to do. Workflow we don't need to do. Yeah, debug targets is all, launch targets is all. We don't need to worry about that anymore too much. We can close the tab, and again, we have like most of it all just right here and ready to go. So let's look at our thing. Status bar visibility, always sign off, no active folder, no auto configure. Oh, again, compile commands. Let's see, compile. We're going to set the default any minute here, but there is it here in our settings here? Is it in our settings here? Where is that? We're going to disable automatic compile. Copy, additional, enable, compiler path. Well, so we can go to the default, and it's going to pump you out this command into your settings. We're going to generate this real soon here, but I guess we'll, yeah, where are we? It's so annoying. Let's do that. I think we're pretty well there. We're doing, I told you about the retargeting the things. Okay, so let's do the compile commands finally. So if you've done any work already, I have for a few months now, when you go into, well, I'll just go here, into your code here, you're using so much O3DE systems and things. So, you know, AZ component, this is Amazon component, which is where O3DE stems from. But a lot of this stuff, VS Code just doesn't know about it. So what we're going to do is export something that can give us this. It actually gives us information about things. If I click F12 on it, it brings me to the file, which isn't always the case. And because we added the source code to our workspace, it actually brings you to the file there. So now you can see that component is inside AZ core, which is inside the framework and the code. You know, when we're doing stuff, here, let me pull up a physics one. Physics entity saver, oops, physics entity saver. We have a rigid body. That's a nice classic one. We're getting it from PhysX. So then we have rigid body requests, and hey, information. That's awesome. You're seeing it right off the spout, so you don't know how hard that is. But we click it. Now we're in rigid body stuff. You can see all the stuff that it uses. But now if you look on where the rigid body bus is, we're in physics, which is an AZ framework, which is contrary to our AZ core. I thought I was going to bring you to gems. But I mean, you can go into gems. So you can go, hey, I want to know about Lyshine is the UI system. So now you can go into the source and you can get, yeah, UI canvas component. Where's button? UI button component. So then you can go, oh, hey, button component has not too much. Handle released. stuff like that. Anyways, this is where the value starts coming in, but we don't quite have that yet. So now we're back into our intensives project. We have a lot of our things set up here, launching things, but now we want to get this compile commands that I've been preambling about. So we're actually going to use a fellow community members guide over here. I can give this link, and basically shows you to get VSCode, get Ninja, and use a specific Ninja command that will get us our compile commands. So the way that when we build, like we saw that huge 1,300 build steps, it makes packages, like bundles of things. They're called Unity somethings. And so when you do that, you can't actually go in file after file and look at the stuff, which is why we're having our issue of not knowing anything about it. But because we have the source code, we can generate a different build. So we're going to make a build that's going to pop up right beside Windows. It's going to be called Ninja Compile Commands. So I'm going to grab the line here that he gives us. It's right here. I can break it here. So again, we're doing S, B, G. That's all the configuration for setting up things. In this case, we're doing Ninja multi-config. So this is when you want to actually do debug, release, and profile. But the destination we're saying is build, like we should, but now we're calling it Ninja Compile Commands. Nice to just know. We're sending the third party path, and see here we're turning off Unity builds. So VS Code and Ninja with no Unity builds works great, does everything. The moment you start wanting to build Unity stuff and O3DE things, that's where you need our Visual Studio environment terminal. Sorry, back to what we were doing. And then we're saying make export compile commands on. So this requires the Unity builds to be off to be able to go line by line and give us our commands. So again, we're going to copy this. We have our terminal nice and open here, and it's all going to work the way we want. So we shift insert, click into the command line, shift insert again. We can verify. So we're calling CMake. We're telling it to build Ninja compile commands using Ninja multi-config. Our gems are here. Unity builds off. Export compile commands are on. And just so you know, with builds, with this, because we're doing it from our project, it is aware of the gems that we've turned on for it. So over in intensives, when we go configure gems, all these ones are all built in, so they're the third party. But when you start getting to the your custom ones, it knows about them. So it will consider those things. It will build them along with all of this stuff. So you're already accounted for. So I think I can just click enter. There we go. So it's going to our source code editor engine, source code engine. Same thing as it always does. It looks at all the packages, Rapid JSON, SQLite or SQLite, PyBind, Vulkan, DirectX shaders, all those things, and then is going to start building. So this is the configuration ahead of time, and then it's going to say configuration complete, and we're going to build. This one's nice. As far as I have experienced, it's not very, it doesn't take very long. It might be because we already have everything built, maybe, I don't know. But this is a really nice little feature, and you can just do it over and over whenever Yeah, when you get new source code for the engine that has changed commands or added functions and methods and files and things, you can just do this again. I'm going to get into some fun workflow things pretty soon here, but it's really, I need to get you set up with everything first. So hopefully you actually understand why we're going to do some workplace or workflow things. Yeah, this hold between configuring makes you always go, okay, I guess it's done. Oh, no, no, Generating done. Build files have been written to Ninja compile commands, and now we're home free. And just so you know, I opened up a separate terminal. This old one you could use, you could close it. I just wanted to keep this nice 3010 steps. So now we have Ninja compile commands. We can go into build. Now we have Ninja compile commands and Windows nice and separate. And we can then finally fill in our default compile commands. So we're going to our dev folder into, oh, yeah, see, intensives 2025. And this would go fine, but we can also just go into Ninja compile commands and go compile commands, and then go copy path. And we want to put them in quotes. So yeah, when you get it made, it's going to look like this. So you just do double quote and then paste it. Aha, we're going to have that same issue. Oh, we have it already preset. So we can just go replace all. Bang. So dev folder, project, build. We made compile commands for this build. Compile commands. So now when you go into, I mean, we don't have really anything into the gem of our project. So gems are everything. I'm going to talk about it next video, but gems are in everything. We can go into source intensive here. It's a module, AZ module. So, oh no. We didn't get our compile commands. Ay, ay, ay. Let me see. Compile. Oops. Should be. Oops. Oh, what was my button? Task, run task. Oh, we don't have them on this one. This is a bit of a vexing one. Our compile stuff should have worked. Ninja compile commands. Export. Oops. No, we're fine. Curiouser and curiouser. I'm going to just quickly go into my module in my work while that's doing its stuff. Where are you, module? Module. Okay, yeah, it worked out for me. And I can go into module. What happened here? Oh yeah, see, that last configuration took 70 seconds and this one took 25. I don't know why this is saying this. Oh, it's the Google test Git. No need to worry about that. Warning. Object file directory. External script canvas. Multiplayer script canvas. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. Um, all right, get this. Because GS Play, we're gonna go back to oh, where did we set this? Because GS Play is short, the addition of Ninja compile commands and all of the directories thereafter, off local dev is all, it's a short enough directory line, but with intensives, it's now longer and it pushes it over the edge. Wow. Okay. Jeez. We're gonna quickly go to our line here. Boy, we're gonna go NCC, Ninja compile commands. Oh, only when you're making tutorials. We're gonna go back to build, and Ninja compile commands is useless, so we're gonna go delete. Move that to recycle bin, we don't care. There we go. Continue. Oh, VSCode is asking me to, come on, delete it. Ah. There we go. We got rid of it. Let's try this once more. Oh boy. I hope that this is just enough to go under the bar. Okay. I'm gonna just start nice, fresh. I want to save this in case I have to completely redo this entire tutorial again. Nice, fresh terminal, good to go. Control V, CMake, Ninja multi everything. Build called NCC. Holy. Starting again. Oh, see, the reason why that second build went faster is because they already have the folder. All of these pre-packages were kind of set up. So it was only trying to like fill in the rest. The stuff that you have to verify every single time or whatever. Oh, thanks everyone for bearing with me here. This is so much information. I only learned half of this yesterday because I want to get into the fun programming, making games part. And I know that you do. So yeah, I really appreciate your patience. This is why the intensives exist, both for information, but also to be a record of like, can we improve this kind of stuff? Like we, the community of developers that are making this stuff. So we're doing good work. The more I find out these issues or these ways to use VS Code, the more it can be supported. Making these compile commands can become a standard thing that's preset in all of these nice preset things by people who actually know what these all mean. Yeah, this is not legal advice. Build files have been written. NCC worked. Configuring done, generating done. We're good. All right, let's give this a new try. Come on. Really? Why is it still doing this? Oh, shoot. All right. Sorry, we didn't update this. We don't have to go to the path. We know what it is. We're doing Ninja compile commands. Holy, I'm so sorry. This gets so confusing. All right, look, the red went away. The red went away. Module loading. It's getting it all fresh. AZ module. Look, we're on Intensives 2025. We're going to click F12 to jump to it. We're in module. We're in module H, inside AZ core, inside of framework, inside of code, inside of O3DE editor. Awesome. Now you can always find out what module does it reflects, it gets required system components, it does these things. Cool. Awesome. And this kind of stuff is what makes this open source. To get access to these kinds of things with Unreal Engine, Unity, or any other closed source engines, you have to get corporate developer approval. So that gives this so much power to the community because we're in it. We can just get right into the thick of it. So anyways, waxing romance or whatever the expression is, compile commands. Okay. So I've been telling you over and over and over about this whole Visual Studio environment and building. So when you click this and run and debug, it's going to send run commands and debug commands and stuff, but it's not going to build. So if you go Control-Shift-P and type build, CMake build is a nice tool that has been added by the CMake tools. And I guess I'll show you. I can probably show you here. It's going to run its own window, and then it's going to, I'm pretty sure, look into this stuff, and it's going to fail, I think. It's going to try to do the first file. Oh my, I hope I'm not putting my foot in my mouth. I mean, we're doing the Ninja profile editor build, which might be nice. I promise I know what I'm doing. It's preparing, it's configuring, it's trying to get it going. Generating done. Oh, this is why you turn off that automatic stuff. I'm pretty sure this is, here we go. Blah. This all failed, everything failed. CMake doesn't exist. Do not, it's not good. Half of this is because it doesn't know how to talk to CMake. And that's why we do our Visual Studio command prompt here. So we set the default here, right? The entirety of VS Code, when you're using terminal, will pop this up and then do the commands that it's going to do. But CMake Tools opens its own terminal, and you cannot tell it what it opens, and you can't give it things before or after to open Visual Studio before it does it. So we're hooped. So this is where it actually turns out that me doing really manual work before this turned out to pay off. So I was doing many of these things that I have here using bat files. So build project editor only Ninja. And if you edit it, it says, it has nice messages, but it says call the build CVARs, the thing that opens this. And then it says a nice thing, and then calls the build. We've done this before. And then pauses because it lets you know that it succeeded and you can just proceed. And I made this. And it runs, and I was using it like straight out of the folder. I just click enter while it's highlighted. But it turns out to be a really nice little payoff here. We're going to get into some fun setup things. Let's get rid of module. Let's get rid of intensives. I'm going to go close this. I'm going to close this. And show you tasks. So this was a really fun discovery. Tasks.json. So we're going to go here and go new file, tasks.json. And I'm going to show you these ones. So there's some default preamble things defining that tasks exist. And then we can make our tasks. I'm going to just Control A, copy. I'll give these to you to use. And we're going to start with this first one. So within tasks, it's in the square brackets, and then in between each coily, we make a task. So we're calling this custom Ninja build. We're doing the Ninja build that we want in the terms that we want, because the one linchpin CMake thing is dumping all over our plans. I have the .gs play here, so I'm going to find and replace it with Intensives 2025. I love find and replace. Bang. Okay. Custom Ninja build is a task. So tasks are things you can just run, and they'll do something. So in this case, we're calling it a process. We're going into our intensives project. So I'm going to copy this, create Ninja build only, and I'm going to paste this here. So ZGS, just to put it at the very bottom of the thing, ZGS. This double slash is because if you do the one, it gives you the error. I think you can do this with the other ones, but here's what we got. Here's what we got. It is just saying the directory that this is in intensives here. And this is a particular thing for the build, is that this is saying that this is replacing the build command is default true. So that when you click build, or it's Control-Shift-B, it'll use this. But build is F7. It's kind of useless, because if you click F7 to build, it's going to run CMake and it's going to fail. So you can go into the gear here, and just below settings and extensions is keyboard shortcuts. Here you can look at everything. You can literally search up everything. Build. There's so many things. F7, yeah, CMake build is F7. But just like setting the settings, over here is now the JSON open up. So now we have key bindings. And yours is going to be empty, but here's mine. And it's a really cool one. So inside the squiggly, you're defining one key binding with the comma between them. We're saying for the key F7, we're using this command, run task. So what's interesting is you can go to keyboard shortcuts and you can go run task, tasks run tasks, and you can see down here workbench.action.tasks.run task. You can also copy command ID, and you'll see, this is tasks. Yes, no, keyboard bindings, yeah. If I just paste it here, workbench.action.tasks.run task. So if you ever want to rebind a function that's already built in, you can search for it, you can set the key, and what we're doing is setting an argument, which is saying run the task called custom Ninja build. So this has to be identical to custom Ninja build. And so then if I go run task, Control-Shift-B, tasks run task, Control-Shift-B, here we go. We have tasks now, which is why I was having a confusion. We have custom Ninja build here. And, oh, it doesn't say it. But if we go to Control-Shift-P build, it would show you F7. So again, let's just move on. We have F7, we have run task, custom Ninja build, and we're going to see it in action. So I'm going to click F7, and now it opens the Visual Studio environment. It says building the project. Yeah, this one, it's kind of undoing all of that weird configuration that happened when I tried to build and it failed. Linking CXX, that means it got through anything that would be crashing. or I mean, it might crash now for the linkers if you don't do good linking. But it's running, and it's running in the Visual Studio environment, so it's going to do its work, and we can get rid of some of these. It's running. Wow, Open Mesh Core is really having a hard time here. It's probably because I'm recording video and stuff. And with this task, with this bat file that we have in intensives, thankfully it does what we want, and it does it exactly to the profile and the things that we want. Kind of gets rid of some of the ambiguity of all of these settings, which is why I was saying don't worry about it. And then you can press key to continue, click it, and then it says it'll terminate. And if you click it again, it terminates the thing. And that's why I did pause, so that you can just review and then close it. So now we have build, and we have it on the build button. So whenever we can even do it now. We go to O3DE. We have all these gems. You could add your own, but I'm going to do one small, stars. It gives you a starry sky. Click it on. Stars activated for intensives 2025. We don't have intensives, the editor, open. That's a good thing to do. It's to close it before you do these things. And we added the gem stars. Fun little side things. In intensives 2025, if you go down to project.json, so that's at the absolute top folder, project.json, the gem names will be here. So Lyshine is the UI. We added stars just now. Great. And in fact, you don't even need to use the configure gems if you know the name of your gems that you want. So anyways, I did this because we added stars. So, well, we gotta, just like the O3DE says, big alarm here, we gotta rebuild. So then we click F7, and it does the job that we wanted to do. This took me almost like the majority of my night yesterday to get this working and to do what we want. And I just want to verify that I'm doing it correctly for you. So I guess while we're waiting for this, we're going to do some additional key bindings. So F5 is the run, is run and debug. Start debugging, Control F5. And that's because we changed it to Control F5 here. It used to be F5, but you don't always want to do debugging. Like when you're doing editor work, if you're an engineer, it's a good time to do debugging, but I'd rather it be by choice than automatically. So I basically flip-flopped. I took F5 and made launch, which is, if you go to commands, Control-Shift-P, run without debugging, F5. Yeah, see, look, it tells you what the override is. So it says F5 here because I made it F5. If you search run without debugging without these hotkeys, I think it's Control-Shift-F5. You still want to be able to debug. That's fine. So we switch it to Control F5, and then I want to use all of these tasks. I want to be able to make more tasks, and usually you have to go Control-Shift-P, task, run task, then choose your task, and then do the task. It just goes on and on. So all I did is, again, I got the run task. So this is like clicking Control-Shift-P and then selecting run task, but I made it do Control-Shift-B. Oh, look, our project compiled successfully. Press any key. And it took 19 because we were adding a gem, and it starts working with all of these other packages and stuff. So that's great. Click it, it closes. So we'll just cover these. key F5, control F5. F7 is automatically doing the run task, but you can click control shift B, and then there's custom Ninja build like we have, and you click enter, and there's no work to do. So press any key to continue. Good. We can build. Huzzah, we can build. And now I've told you do the launch target and do the debug swapped. But I just want to reiterate when we look here, where is it? Configure on. I think it's automatic reconfigure. Whatever it is, configure. I showed it, configure on edit, configure on open, automatic reconfigure. Take that all off. So the nice thing is this can actually run because it's not using it. It can actually run. So we have the key bindings F5. So we built, and it says nothing to do, which means that we're up to speed. You'll see here that Intensive still has this alarm, and it's because it just doesn't know that we built it. It wants us to build here, but we built it already. So you don't even need to worry here. You can just open editor and do it. Or to speed up your workflow, we can click F5. So F5 just launches a command. Oh, yeah, it's asking us all of them. Launch target, we should have that. Launch target, it says all, okay. Let's go down here. Ninja, so we don't need to have this. It's nice to have. Active build preset, build target, so that's the build target, test, package, workflow. Oh, do we not have launch? Oh, okay. No, we do want to go in here. Launch target. So these are all the things that we've built or can build. Game launcher, headless server if you're doing multiplayer, the Lua editor for O3DE. But you know, in our case, we want to open the editor. So I just clicked it. I think it wants us to do. Okay, we're good. Launch editor, debug editor. So if you're debugging, it's going to launch, and then start debugging. Launch on its own is just going to launch editor. So we click F5 again this time, and now it's launching. Oh, and we just did it, so we're going to allow access. So here's a little sad thing. This asset processor ask here, it can't connect until we clicked OK, but O3DE, the engine, was expecting it to exist. It's down here. So we have the asset processor, and it's figuring out jobs, but the engine it's going to die because it didn't connect. So now it's trying to load stuff without the asset creator loader. It's good. You can double click there to open the asset processor. It's processing the jobs, and then now it's identifying what it needs to do. Oh, hey, it might have connected to the engine. Oh, we did it in time. So this beginning jobs remaining is the stuff that it needs to like open the X button on the top of the window and, you know, do really basic things. But I guess this is probably going to be a good excuse to show you the workflows when you first start a project, because people always get very confused at this stage, which is, why is it taking forever for the engine to load? And it's like, well, it needs to have any of the engine available first. So it's doing that. It's doing that. We're seeing it here. Logs. Yeah, whatever. You can see it here. Analyzing remaining, processing remaining. You can see pending. You can sort by all sorts of things. This is really good to see if, like, when you add a file, if it isn't showing up, you can actually look here to see what happened. It might be a improper configuration. It might be a little corrupted, something like that, and it'll pop up here. Pretty cool. Learning about what the engine is doing and how game engines work it's quite fascinating. Bear with me here. I'm both recording this video and editing this editor. But look, it's running. We did it all with VS Code. This was eons ago. Eons ago we started. But I promise, once this is all set up, all you can do is just improve your processes, learn a little bit about the build systems and stuff. Don't do that in one evening like I did. And we're getting very, very close to basically everything that Visual Studio does as a standard, except for this little circumvention of doing the custom build. Because when you're in Visual Studio itself, everything is a Visual Studio environment, so it's completely not an issue. But this is good. It's working. Got 850 jobs. Oh yeah, these are heavy duty ones. Complete, pending, complete. Oh, what are the ones in the process of processing? There's a lot of files. Oh, here we go. Look. Completed. Some of these have warnings. Slice builder. One warning. Request stopped builder. Task process this. Low-end pipeline does not support skin lighting model. I think these are just telling me stuff because I do not have a low-end pipeline. Oh yeah, see in progress. It's doing stuff. Yeah, look at all these in progress. You know, it's materials, so shaders and materials. Those ones take a bit. It has to do so much processing. If you're not an engineer, the thing that's crazy about a lot of this programming, and it's very transparent in C++, it copy pastes everything into everything. So if you have a shader, it's copy pasting the shader into every single object that has the shader. Every single one. You know, you have a prefab, it's, you know, zombie, but you have a zombie over there, and you have a zombie behind this door, and all of them get the shader, and all of them get mesh renderer component, and all of them get AZ component, as we are seeing. Everywhere, copy paste everywhere. So if you have World of Warcraft, your shaders are going to take forever because there's 7 million of them all over the game. Really brute force, but literally the computer can't assume anything. It can't just go like, oh, I'm going to jump over here and read this for a while. It's just going top to bottom. So the top is, hey, code exists, and the bottom is, and therefore that code is my zombie that has a shader and a mesh. It's happening. It came to be. We're going to minimize the asset processor. If you close it, it'll actually close it. And now that we're here, we have more assets to load. Because now we got through the important ones to start the editor. And now we're going through the ones that are going, okay, we need to make this leaf with a monitor icon. And it's like, okay, I haven't gotten to that yet, but now you need it. So now let's come up. We've got our project. But see, this is where people get confused. We have pending jobs down here, 258. They're jumping into this. They're trying to open things. These are the pending jobs are the things that make everything exist. So a little bit of patience. Go to the bathroom. Have a cold drink. Something like that. This would be going a little faster if I weren't recording the screen, and of course just the magical law that it has to be so difficult during a tutorial. Just oh look, it's chunking through the good stuff. I guess those ones are big ones. Um, I think we're probably good. See, look, we're going to just jump it in, and now it's going to try and load the level. Oh, so us doing patience, the level actually came to exist. Usually this screen is empty, is just you're looking at a black screen, and it's because it hasn't done the shader ball yet. It hasn't done the grid here. Oh my God! So first thing I always do is just kill this grid here, because it makes it look like the grid texture. Yeah, it looks all wrong. It's because you can, click 1. Now you can move it up by 0.5. Yeah, see, there's the grid. It helps you keep aware of the space, but I don't want it. I don't want it. You probably know about grid if you've done any work. Okay, we run the project. We have built the project that we therefore have run here. I'm going to save default level. We can close it. And we've basically done everything. But just like I did this build project editor only, I did a few others for funsies. And again, I'm going to share these all with you. But if I go into GS Play, I have export Ninja build commands. So I'm going to copy paste this into intensives. And we're going to go to the tasks. And we're going to skip the create component. I'm going to show you that soon. Generate Ninja compile commands task. Now, in the intensives, we want to go in here and edit this because we learned something. We're doing n_cc, Ninja compile commands, but it's doing everything the same. Setting up Visual Studio, building Ninja compile commands, and then pauses when it's done and tells you you're good. So I'm going to save this. When you edit bat files, just if you don't know, do edit, because if you open, it's just going to run the bat file if you double click on this. So we did this label. It's a process again, just like the top. It's just calling the bat to exist. I did some things for this one. Panels shared, so it's just going to load in here. It's going to clear the log before it does it. And it's going to focus. This one's a nice one for very soon, and then it's going to close. So I guess it's not going to pause and wait. But this time I haven't made a button. I didn't make a key binding for it. But we made this Control-Shift-B, the run task here. So now I can just be somewhere. Let's go to launch.json. And this is closed, and this is closed, and we're not renaming anything yet. Control-Shift-B. We see we just last ran custom Ninja build, but we can go generate Ninja compile commands. And it always asks you, do you want to continue, blah, blah, blah. You have to double-click, basically. Opens up Visual Studio, starts compiling, configuring the build, and then it's going to build our NCC build. And because we have the compile commands already set, it's just going to work. So if you do what, get to the point where I'm at, where where we have GS Play gems, all of these have methods that have, not prefabs, code. There we go. Source code. I'm going to show you the deep secrets. Action component. All of these things. What do we have here? Do action. If you have do action somewhere, it'll actually point to this. If you have complete action somewhere, it'll actually point to this. It's great. So yeah, configuring done. It's gonna do that last bit of building there. We have our presets that maybe works. I don't know. We have our key bindings that we're satisfied with. You can add whatever you want now. Kill keyboard shortcuts, kill key bindings. Our settings should be all good. I was brute forcing this configure settings thing, trying to get it to apply to the CMake builder. but it didn't. Press any to continue, and now it closes. Ta-da! We have done everything we need. We can continually recreate our commands. We can F7 and build our project, no work to do. And we can click F5 and launch the game, the engine. So of course, if you're getting to the point where you're building and testing out a real-time runtime project play, you would change the launch to be game launcher, Intensive's 2025 game launcher. Oh, it's not even doing this. It's pointing towards our what we've built in here, Windows bin profile. It's pointing at all of these editor, emotion things. So that's great. And then I want to give you one little fun, juicy addition. So all of these bat files, these launcher things, are relative to the project. Make the build commands for this project, build this project. But in the coming tutorials, we're going to be making components, basically the drag and drop thing that you drag onto a thing and it does functionality. We're going to make many of them. So I'm going to quickly fast forward a little bit here because I'm not trying to make those tutorials reliant on this setup. And we have our create new component task. So I made a fun component generator, create component, but this requires to be at the source code editor. So in the same way that we did Workspace folder Intensives 2025, we do Workspace folder O3DE editor. So this is actually pointing to this folder here. And you can see here, we've got create component bat right there. But I'm going to actually show you real quick. Oh yeah, we can look into it. Great. So some of the extra things, because we're launching it from our project, it thinks that we're in project. So we do this one command here, this asterisk dp0, and it takes us to where the bat file is, so to the editor. And that's very important. It'll verify it says current directory is. It's going to say O3DE editor. So I didn't know much about making bat files and stuff, but this right here is actually a thing that's going to ask you all the questions that you want to generate your component, and then it actually pipes it into a command, the command that I'm going to show in that tutorial and stuff, to generate a component. So if you download this and use it to build your components, there's some little quick things. Default path is your path to your gems, because your components are likely going to go to a gem, right? That's why I made you make a gem folder. And then we're saying the gem subpath. So, we have my gems folder here, but actually all of these are gems. So what is the actual gem that you want to build it into? So my default is GS Play core. So that's this one. So the first step is coming to the GS Play gems. Second step is saying go to the GS Play core. Third step is saying my compose. Oh, so replace this with your default and replace this with the gem that you're probably using or building into. So like this could be, oh, we're on intensives. Okay. We can go intensives gem. Actually, I think it's a lowercase. Whatever. No. We'll do that. It's not gonna matter too much because I haven't made the gem yet. You can make a default name here. I don't think it matters because you're just gonna make a custom name no matter what. And so then this last one, default gem name, is it has to do with the namespaces. So when you're in your intensives gem source code system component, it says namespace intensives 2025. So you want this to be the gem name as it is in your gem. So if we go to GSPlay gems, we go to GSPlay core, and I click on any of these, it's going to be namespace GSPlay core. So yeah, and then you can leave default component. This is the template that you're using to make the component. You could replace this to other components, code component or editor component if you want, but we're indie devs, we're making games. I don't know how to do that stuff, but I want to just show you what it does. So we can close this and we can close this, and we're at the tasks. So yeah, it's a task. We're not binding it to anything. We can close this and close this. Again, I'm just keeping this for posterity, just for funsies. And so then we go Control-Shift-B. Custom Ninja build, generate Ninja compile. We did both of those. And now you can create new component if you've done this and point it to the create component. So again, Workspace folder, your editor source code, and then the create component bat. Control-Shift-B, create new component. It's going to ask you this thing, so you have to click yes. Now it opens the terminal, and it's asking us, do you want to replace this path to your gems folder? Nah, click enter. Do you want to change the gem? I could go, yeah, let's do GS play core. See, this is going to be interesting. No, I'm making a GS play core component, and we're going to call it intensives example, and it's going to add component to the end. And it wants GS play core. I didn't replace that with intensives, my bad. The template name default component. So it says, oh, do you want to make a component in your core gem called intensives example? And I click OK. And it's going to spit out a bunch of stuff. And then it's done, so it closed. And we can even look in GS Play. We now have intensive example component with the namespace GS core. In the includes, we have intensives example interface. And this is going to be the stuff that I'm going to teach you in the components tutorial. So this just gets you a little bit into it. It's much faster than what I was doing, where I would, where's the code in the bat? Oh, not this one, not this one. Create component. Copy this from a place where I had it copied. I'd go Notepad, I'd paste it, then go, okay, I would have it pre-made with my off local dev GS play core. This would be yeah, literally component name. Template name would be the one that we actually care about. Default component. Paste, and then this gem name replace would be GS play core. So I would basically take this, edit it, change the component name, maybe change to the gem of the many gems that I have that I'm working on at the time, add the component name. I'd open this up, copy. I would be in my GS Play. I'd pull up focus editor directory. So then it opens me up to O3DE editor, and then I'd paste it and click enter. What a slog. What a slog. Don't save. So that's that. Just to summarize, we installed Git and all of the things to bring in the source code for O3DE. We set up Ninja, like got it. We actually pulled in the source code. We got Visual Studio. We set it up to have our custom terminal so that we're always working in the Visual Studio environment. We got all the prerequisites of extensions. We got all those. We set up our build information. We learned how to do our settings. We learned how to set up tasks. We used pre-made project settings and slightly altered our launch settings using our CMake tools bar or our CMake tools status. We chose the folder, we chose the types of profiles, and we chose to launch the editor. These kinds of things are all things you can do some advanced stuff with. And then we set up our key bindings by going into here, keyword shortcuts, and pulling up the thing, and made our own custom key bindings that ultimately overwrite whatever was using the former key binding. And then lastly, if you don't know how to use Visual Studio, you go Control-Shift-P to run things, or you can go Control-T to search things, GS action. Doesn't even, there we go. Good. So I think if we review here, yeah, showed you all the stuff, but I'm going to show you. We're going to run Control F5. We're going to go Control F5. Sorry. We're going to go over to my project here, Control F5, and it actually tries to start running. It's running the engine, and then it's gonna. Oh, here we go. It's loading all this stuff, and when it starts. Oh, so this is configuring it to do debug. I don't know exactly what it's doing here. And then this happens, which is some of my work via like default C++ is causing alarm. You can see here what's happening. Class builder things. Here we go. My record keeper component is causing issue. And so this is how you do debug. I haven't quite gotten into the depths of it. So then I have to click stop just to kill it. Test, build editor, debug editor. I don't know why this failed over here. Yeah, why is it telling us this? Debug start. Oh, see, I think it's probably, do we have a debug, default profile windows, debug terminal, confirm on exit, console, close on end, collapse, font family, line height, word wrap, enable status bar. Do we have it here? Default build target, target to launch, active build preset, launcher. We go here. Everything's the same. Internal console task and open debug. Let's try this again. Control F5. Oh. Sorry. Launch. File dir name, I think. Workspace folder. No. Debug is supposed to use editor. What is it saying here? Why is it doing that? F5. Build Windows debug. Yeah, it's trying to do the game launcher. Okay, let's just change the debug to be editor. Yeah, see, this is, maybe it's this. No. I copy pasted it in anyways. I don't know why it's trying to, can I go into settings here? project debug, release, profile debug. Oh, here, build, okay. Yeah, see, this is some of the stuff that I was trying to find. Ay. Sorry for all this trouble. We don't have these, comma. Build before run is false. So when you run from here, it was building, and we didn't want to do that. Export compile commands file. Yeah, so when we do a build or a compile, we don't want it to automatically export the compile commands. We're commanding that ourselves. I don't know about this verbosity terminal. And then integrated, I think I accidentally put that in just by setting a thing. If I click F5, I don't know why it wants launch.json, but I don't want it to do launcher. Intensive 20 build Windows, run and debug consoles, launcher, intensives 2020. Oh, I guess this you have to set. I don't know why it's not aligning. Okay, so if we go Control-Shift-P, run target, run debug, run with this, set launch debug target editor. That might not have done it. Yeah, no. I guess you have to manually do this. I'm sorry, this made the tutorial go extra long. These are how my intensives always go. F5, yes, we built the editor, finally. It's not going to build before running, so it's just running. We don't have my gems that caused issues, so this is actually exciting. I think we're going to learn something together here. The editor's actually opening up. So this is where when you're talking to the community and you're talking about an issue in the editor, so-and-so is not happening, yada yada is not, I'm so happy about this, yada yada is not happening, you can actually be here in the code. When I was in my, let's go to our, sorry, I'm some learning opportunities, gem, source, system component, so you're testing your own stuff. You can put breakpoints, which is standard debug stuff. You can then go, reflect context, because we have the context commands. We're in here. You go, let's go into the actual body of it. When it goes, if we're in the process of reflecting this type already, don't store references to it. It's like, uh-oh, we're storing references to it. So then you can click here. And now when you run and it hits this, we can actually go into the threads here, call stack as I was showing you, and diagnose what's happening. So yeah, no, it actually, you can do debug. I don't need to do a tutorial about this. Ta-da! Okay, so I mean, that covers absolutely everything. We have the editor here. You can exit the editor, or you can, I think this is going to be a real brute force. Oh, you can also disconnect. So Shift F5. Shift F5. Oh, it still closed the editor. But yeah, ta-da! We can now develop. We can edit the engine. We can do nice short commands to build components, because you're going to do lots of that. You can build as you want. You can regenerate your compile commands as you want. And this is literally my entire workflow that I've been doing for a few months, but just now, like, more optimized, and I can actually debug and stuff, which is exciting for me. And I have the terminal here just on command and stuff. So that's super awesome. That's what I learned yesterday. But yeah, no, I've spent a long time now doing these gems, doing all sorts of source code and stuff like that, building and running. and I have now shown you everything I know about the environment you're using and how to output the things that you want. So thanks so much for going through this entire thing. Thanks so much for waiting for all of this stuff. It's such a mess, so long and so much information. I hope this helps you, and I'm not going to stay any longer so that you can be free and code. Thanks.